Tune in and cry it out with me, DJ Susie.
Righty. Well, good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and members of the jury. You are about to start listening to Sitting with Gianluca here at Radio Free Brooklyn. I am Gianluca. I will be sitting with you till 7 p.m. I want to thank It Gets Weird. I enjoy that playlist. That was great fun. I have to say, though, I'm not Lost and Rewound. But I like Lost and Rewound, so I don't mind being introduced as Lost and Rewound. 1 bit. Because here at Radio Free Brooklyn, we're all pals, because it's community radio. Yay. Anyway, today, happy May Day, by the way, ladies and gentlemen and members of the jury. It's an important day, really. When we get to lie in on Sunday, it is because of May Day, really. When we get to get overtime because we have clocked in over 40 hours in a 7-day period, is because of May Day. So it is a good to acknowledge today. It is the one holiday that I do acknowledge. And it's funny, when people bash on about socialism and how awful it is and how we're all going to be dressed as Chairman Mao, I always bring that up. I said, yeah, well, we've all benefited from socialism, really. If you've ever had, if you've listened to Billy Joel, he came from Levittown, didn't he? Which was government-subsidized housing estate. And again, as I said before, if we get overtime for 40-hour weeks and anything over, then it is because of the slightly left-leaning people in the political spectrum. Anyway, I will leave it at that. Today is 6:03 and 25 seconds, and I got a whole ton of really, really cool music to play. It is last week. Thank you, by the way, for those who emailed me, sitting with at radiofreebrooklyn.org. And also through Instagram, Sitting with GT, contact me through Instagram, and just thank you for thanking me, really. I had Jim Flim on. We were talking about New Orleans and his book, because he was down there. I wrote the intro to the book, in full disclosure. But this week is a 50th anniversary of the New Orleans Jazz and Heritage Festival, otherwise known as Jazz Fest. I've been to about 20-something of them, going way back to the early 90s. And it's 2 weekends, and this Wednesday, everyone's taking a breather, recovering from last weekend, and gearing up for tomorrow when it starts all over again. So I wanted to not have a guest today, but I wanted to really just play records and talk about why New Orleans... I'm going to say it, and then I'm going to explore this with you. So bear with me. All black urban music has its roots in New Orleans. All right? I'm going to leave it at that. I'm going to explain it over the next 50-something minutes, so bear with me. In the meantime, before, I just want to warm up with, because it's an important birthday today, Little Walter, harmonica supremo, would have been, I hate this part because I can't do maths. Well, he was born in 1930, so he would have been 88, right? Yes, 88. 80 or 89. Anyway, 89 perhaps. But anyway, Little Walter, great harmonica player. He is talked about, he had revolutionized the harmonica the way that, say, Charlie Parker revolutionized the saxophone, or Jimi Hendrix revolutionized the electric guitar. So I'm going to just do a quick tribute to him, and then we're going to get funky in New Orleans. And so here's Little Walter before and after. Here's Little Walter because he amplified the harmonicas. I'm going to play a track by Little Walter, playing harmonica the way it was played before he turned it upside down and round to front.
the night was through. So long, buddy, we should have saw this to the end.
That was Booker White giving you his interpretation of the blues from the South. Right now, we're going to move north, all the way to Chicago, Illinois. I bring you a gentleman by the name of Little Walter.
Yeah, you see, that's Little Walter. I'm going to carry on playing some Little Walter. It kind of ties in nicely with New Orleans because Little Walter came from Louisiana, as a matter of fact. So there you go. Although blues, I hasten to add, is not black urban music, it's rural music. Aha. So Little Walter was from out in the sticks in Louisiana, country boy. Beat his way to Chicago as a 15-year-old. And Muddy Waters picked him up. Well, he played along Maxwell Street for a long time, kicking around, ripping and running and all of this. And eventually, Muddy Water picked him up. And then Little Walter left Muddy Waters, and he did this. And this is the track that revolutionized the harmonica. happy birthday, little Walter. Absolute, the master of the Mississippi saxophone there. He died in, he died at 37 because a lifetime of, he was a rambunctious little tyke. He was always getting into fights. He drank and smoked like a fiend, and he was always having a scrap, always. And what happened was he got into a big one in between sets at a place he was playing on the south side of Chicago, and he died. He got injured, not as bad as previous scraps, but it was one too many. So he died at a girlfriend's place in there you go, the next day. So sad one there, but anyway, happy birthday, little Walter from Louisiana, and just coincidentally, that is where we're going to spend the next hour, the next 50 minutes, or thereof, because New Orleans, or New Orleans, to give it its correct pronunciation, all black urban music, if you follow it back, has its roots in New Orleans. Now, I know that hip-hop and rap and other things weren't born in New Orleans. I know house music wasn't born in New Orleans. But if you follow it back through the lineage, which goes through disco and funk, you land in New Orleans. Jazz, R&B, funk come from New Orleans. Memphis had stuff too, I know, but a little bit later. Memphis had Ike Turner that was tearing it up, and other bands that were tearing it up, but New Orleans was just a few years beforehand. How many years? About 5 or 6, probably. 5 or 6 exactly. So I'm going to tell you why. What happened was, before the war, the World War II, right, there were all these big swing orchestras like Duke Ellington and Count Basie, and they were tearing it up. Louis Jordan was tearing it up. They were ripping it up all over the place. It was jump and jive, right? And then the war happens. A lot of the men went off to fight, and plus there was no money, so no one could afford big orchestras. So the wartime years, everyone stopped dancing, basically. The cooler stuff was jazz, and that was bebop. That's when Charlie Parker and Miles Davis and all those people started doing, and Dizzy Gillespie started doing their bebop, right? Which was sit-down music, great music, but sit-down music. Then you had sort of on the whiter end of the spectrum, you had sort of Doris Day, and how much is that? Doggy in the Window, and she was a little bit later, but you had the Andrews Sisters and those wartime vocal groups singing lovely saccharine, smooth ballads. And I'm going to play one, and a little bit of one. I'm not putting it down. I actually quite like some of these ballads. These are lovely records. But I'm just saying that in the war years and after, this is what you heard. People like Vaughan Monroe and his orchestra. Let's see if I can get this on. You know the drill. I make mistakes all the time. But you heard nice ballads, sweet things that could make you sit down and have a nice time. Here's Vince Vaughn doing just like, seems like old times.
Seems like old times, having you to walk with. Seems like old times, having you to talk with.
And it's still a thrill just to have my arms around you.
Still the thrill that it was the day I found you. Seems like old times, dinner dates and flowers. Seems like old times, staying up for hours,
Making dreams come true, doing things we used to do. Seems like old times being here with you.
All right. See what I'm talking about? It's sweet, right? It's nice, sit down. It's very, very World War. This is the type of things that were going on It was nice, feel good, kind of like those Sunday afternoon television, family television, right? Very, very sweet. So in New Orleans, however, New Orleans has a very long and big parade tradition. And if I wanted to get geek alert very, very quickly, during the nasty slavery days, New Orleans was the only place where the slaves were allowed to play drums. So all these rhythms from Africa stayed in New Orleans. They came to life in parades and funerals and all of this. And so New Orleans always had a sense of rhythm, always had the drum, right, uninterrupted from the old country, right? So they just had this sense of rhythm. A New Orleanian would never play, stuff like this. It's just not in his DNA. So what happened? An Italian immigrant called Cosimo Matassa owned owned an appliance store, and he was a chemistry school dropout actually, and he owned a little appliance store. His dad did, and in the back of it, he set up a tiny little recording studio. Direct to disc, which means you sing into a trumpet and a needle bashes like drills pins in a piece of shellac is what it was at the time. So and you would go in and you would do a little novelty song like a little happy birthday thing for your mum, which is what Elvis did. But Elvis did it about 10 years later. I'm talking about after the war, 1940. He opened it in 1946. So he had this little thing. Now, a preacher, a gospel singer called Roy Brown comes in, right, out of the blue, and he sings a song all about screwing. And it is about screwing. There's a black man in the segregated South, and it's very well known. Elvis covered it. Everyone has covered it, and here it is. This was a shotgun in 1947. This was a shotgun that started a new revolution. Oh, I like this version. I kind of want to leave it on. Well, I've let the cat out of the bag. I'm actually going to play the original version that was made to shellac in 1940. Ooh, this is great, though. In 1947 instead. Ooh, here it is. This is how it is. 1947, folks.
Well, I heard the news there's good rockin' tonight. Tonight she'll know I'm a mighty, mighty man. I heard the news, there's good rockin' tonight. Oh yes, I heard the news, there's good rockin' tonight. Well, I'm gonna hold my baby tight as I can. Tonight she'll know I'm a mighty, mighty man. I heard the news, there's good rockin' tonight. Behind the barn, don't be afraid, I'll do you no harm. I want you to bring my rocking shoes, 'cause tonight I'm gonna rock away all my blues. I heard the news, there's good rockin' tonight. Mighty, mighty man, I heard the news, there's good rockin' tonight. Well, the Deacon Jones and Elder Brown, two of the slickest cats in town, they'll be there just waiting to see, stomping and jumping at the jamboree, crying, hey man, there's good rockin' tonight. Well, sweet Lorraine, Sioux City Sue, sweet Georgia Brown, Caledonia too, they'll all be there Ain't you glad we heard the news? There's a good rockin' tonight. Oh, yes, we'll rock tonight. Hey, hey, we'll rock tonight. Hoy, hoy, we'll rock tonight. Hey, hey, we'll rock tonight. I heard the news, there's a good rockin' tonight.
Yeah. You see, imagine how, whoa, what's that? Imagine how scandalous that was at the time, right? Segregated South. Black man walked, listen to that rhythm. It sounds maybe a little bit twee today because this is that post-Metallica, right? We're used to loud bangs. But at the time, this was an explosion. When he's saying, tonight I'll show you what a mighty, mighty man, right? He's not talking about his shoulders. You know, he's taking this woman, he's slamming her against the wall in the back alley and giving her one, right? That's what he's talking about. The church went bananas. They had flyers all over the New Orleans, saying not to buy Negro records. Yeah, that's what they did. So it caused an instant generation gap. We tend to think punk was subversive, but holy Moses, this totally blew the hinges off. And then Fats Domino walked in and he came out with this. That's what I'm talking about. So that's Fats Domino, 1949. 1940. Elvis still had not even walked into the recording studio by this point. So you hear that heavy thumping. You can imagine the distortion. That thing's washed in distortion. The needles are slamming into the red, right? So that's kind of even proto rock and roll, proto punk, if you like, right? It's just like completely primal and raw. So anyway, that was what was going on in the back room of Cosimo Matassa's appliance shop. Artists would walk past refrigerators and waffle irons right into that little back room, and there'd be a studio band there, right? right. It was the first ever studio band. You think of the Motown Records having a studio band. You think of Stax having a studio band with Booker T and the MGs. And you hear of the LA studio bands like the Wrecking Crew, and you think they sort of invented all those things. But in the mid-40s, there was already a studio band that just sat there, and whoever walked in, they called out a key, and bosh, 3 minutes later, they had a record because it was going direct to disc. Anyway, just so happens that I caught up with one of them years ago. If you go into, I spent quite a lot of years in the pre-Katrina years writing about this sort of thing. If you want to go to it's Offbeat Magazine. I did a long story where I talked to Dr. John and Alan Toussaint and all this about this very thing. And it's Offbeat Magazine. It's a New Orleans publication. It's a long feature. It's 3 or 4 pages long. And it's probably from about 2009, although I did the interviews many years beforehand. And I think it's called House of Rock, something like that. House of Rock. Look that one up. And anyway, so I went over. Ernest McLean played guitar, was a member of the studio band. And he then moved to California. He did some sessions in California too. But really, he was just happy playing guitar in Disney World because he got a steady paycheck. He was a jazz player, really. Anyway, artists would just go in, and 3 minutes later, they had a record. And here's Ernest McLean. He's long since passed away, sadly. But here he is, as an older man, telling me about those days and about what the challenges were. The challenges were not playing the music because it was only 3 chords. The challenges were something altogether different. Oh, can't get it up. Oh, well, that was a slip. Ah, yes, no, because it's a wrong file. So it's a wrong file, sadly. But you know what? I'm going to play something else from that period. Teaching and Preaching by the Royal Kings.
$41.25. Sometime I would like put down different notes for the horns to play, and Dave Bartholomew would give me 82.50. I would get leaders fee. It would be double for me, 82.50, because I do the horn charts. And sometime I wouldn't write that stuff down, or I would just tell the horns what notes to play, because there wasn't no music on paper or nothing like that. The tunes wasn't that complicated to play. It was just a 12-bar blues.
Yeah.
12-bar blues or 12-bar blues. You don't learn that stuff, you just play it. What really was the biggest part of the whole thing, it was to get make sure that you time the thing right. Because doing everything on this wasn't no tape. You couldn't do anything over 3 minutes, otherwise the thing won't run out before the arrangement's over. That was the biggest problem. We had to play it and time it. Somebody was looking at a watch. If it wasn't Dave, it was Kakai, one of us had to look at it. If you wanted a good slow tempo, you have to cut something out. I mean, you have to, instead of doing 3 choruses, you have to do 2 or 2.5.
Yeah.
Because in order to do 2.5, you would do 2 choruses, and then you would go back to the middle of the song and take it out from there. Well, we're doing 2 choruses. That means we can't do but 2 choruses too much, so we have to do a chorus and a half. And if there's a thing like you go to the bridge, okay, do 1 chorus and go back to the bridge and take it out. That was the biggest thing, getting the time right. Because if you go over 3 minutes, that needle will go to the middle and it cuts off.
All right.
And you make sure you get the tempo right and everything, so when you record on the disc, because we're doing everything on disc, play 1.5 chorus and take it out, and that was the most complicated part.
Haiko hande, Giacomo filo handande, Giacomo finane. Oh, my spy boy met your spy boy, sitting by the bayou. My spy boy, do your spy boy, I'm gonna set your flag on fire. Talking about hey now, Haiko hande, Giacomo filo handande, Giacomo finane. Oh, look at my queen all dressed in red. Haiko hande. I bet you $5 she'll kill you dead. Giacomo finane. Talking about hey now, Haiko hande. Giacomo filo handande, Giacomo finane. Haiko hande, Giacomo filo handande, Giacomo finane. Oh, Haiko hande. I'm having my fun on the Mardi Gras day. Giacomo finane. Talking about hey now, Haiko hande. Giacomo filo handande, Giacomo finale. Talking about hey now, Haiko hande. Giacomo filo handande, Giacomo finale.
Yeah, Sugar Boy Crawford. Aiko. And that is a Mardi Gras Indian tune. By the way, if you have just tuned in, you're listening to Sitting with Gianluca here at Radio Free Brooklyn. I'm Gianluca. I will be sitting with you till 7 p.m. today, this May Day. And I am doing a salute because it is New Orleans Jazz Fest going on. The second weekend starts tomorrow, Thursday, and because it's 10 days long, and it is the 50th. And I'm I'm using this as an excuse to play New Orleans music and to state my case that all black urban music comes from New Orleans. I'm going to elucidate that a little bit more clear after this. But also I have to remind you, don't I? you know what comes next. We're a community station. We do this for nothing. We are dependent on people like you, the listener, to drop a couple of shillings in the hat and send it our way if you have them. Nothing too small, nothing too big either. We're community based, so we have kids programs that we teach teenagers media literacy and how to do these things. Sam from Teens Take the Mic, as a matter of fact, is coming on at 7 p.m. She is one of the Radio Free Brooklyn teenagers that does this wonderfully. So on radiofreebrooklyn.com or .org, there's a whole bunch of numbers and fandangles that you can click. Also, it's a 501c3, something like that. So you get your money back from the tax man, and we can carry on bringing you great, cool sounds like what we are hearing now. New Orleans, New Orleans. So I say all black urban music, if you follow it back. And I'm not saying blues, because blues is rural. So from jazz R&B, I'm playing you the first ever R&B that was ever recorded. It comes back to New Orleans. So I'm so Sugar Boy Crawford, Iko, right? Yakimo Finae is a Mardi Gras Indian chant. And Mardi Gras Indian chants, that is a tradition that's been happening in New Orleans since the 1800s, right? Well, possibly before, but we weren't really there, so we don't know. But first recordings is back in the 1800s. Supposedly, black slaves had escaped and were hidden away on Indian reservations and in Indian villages, and then came back and with a different type of music. So anyway, but it's funky. So that's the story behind it. True or not, no one really knows. But I'm going to play some Mardi Gras Indian tunes from the Wild Chapatulas. This is not quite from Cosmo Matassa's J&M Studios, but it's a little bit later. I think it was recorded in his third studio in the 70s in Camp Street, actually. So it kind of is. But anyway, it's got the meters playing funk on it. Here's Mardi Gras Indian chant. Big Chief got golden crown. The Wild Chapatulas.
My big chief got a golden crown. Got a golden crown, a golden crown. Big chief got a golden crown. Got a golden crown, make it drag the crown. Big chief got a golden crown. I'm an Indian ruler from way uptown. Big chief got a golden crown. I'm a wild Chapatula from one near down. Big chief got a golden crown. I'ma bring my gang from the Neon team. Big chief got a golden crown. I'ma meet them boys on the Melbourne. Big chief got a golden crown. My spy won't run in my flag one knee. Big chief got a golden crown. But I'm the big chief, got a heart of steel. Big chief got a golden crown. Hey, Chewy Pocky Way, my big chief got a golden crown. Say hey, Chewy Pocky Way, my big chief got a golden crown. Say Mardi Gras morning when the sun come up, my big chief got a golden crown. We drink fire water from a silver cup. Big chief got a golden crown. I'm the big chief with the golden crown. Big chief got a golden crown. Spy boy, take me down. Big chief got a golden crown. I'ma take 'em up, I'ma take 'em down. Big chief got a golden crown. I'ma bring my gang all over town. Big chief got a golden crown. Don't nobody bow, don't nobody run. Big chief got a golden crown. My spy got the knife and I got the gun. Big chief got a golden crown. Hey, do it, Pocky way. My big chief got a golden crown. Hey, do it, Pocky way. My big chief got a golden crown. Big Katie, me Akko, me Unane. Big chief got a golden crown. We gon' have some fun on the holiday. Big chief got a golden crown. When I paint my face, that engine race. Big chief got a golden crown. I don't want nobody with a feather in his head. Big chief got a golden crown. anyway. My big chief got a golden crown. Got a golden crown, golden crown. Big chief got a golden crown. Make blood shiver when I want you down. Big chief got a golden crown. Don't nobody run, don't nobody leave. Big chief got a golden crown. Pour out your blood on the battlefield. Big chief got a golden crown. I'm an old-time engine from the olden days. Big chief got a golden crown. For mighty cootie fire got dirty ways.
Mighty Cootie Fire. That is a Wild Chapatulas with the meters back in them, actually, from a 70s album, produced actually by Quint Davis, who produces Jazz Fest. So yeah. Anyway, those rhythms are old in New Orleans. All those cool, funky, syncopated rhythms are like 200 years old in New Orleans. They were doing that like 200 years ago, right? It's a new recording, well, from the 70s, but those rhythms are 200 years ago. If you have just tuned in, you're listening to Sitting with Gianluca here at RadioFreeBrooklyn.org. I am Gianluca. I'll be sitting with you till 7. I am making the case that all black urban music comes from New Orleans. If you want to fight me over it, and you want to pick an argument or congratulate me, you can do so. Sitting with at RadioFreeBrooklyn.org, or Instagram is Sitting with GT is my Instagram. And so if you just listen to that Big Chief, right, I come from the Mardi Gras Indian traditions, where they shake tambourines and they parade down Mardi Gras. They spend a whole year making their beautiful feather suits that they only wear for that one day. And in the old days, they had a spy boy that led the pack, they called it the tribe. They were street gangs, led the tribe, checking out for other crews, because if there was another crew, they'd get into a rumble. They'd start fighting and stabbing each other and all sorts of stuff like that. That's what that's about. The Big Chief was kind of the guy. They had a Big Chief, which was the Big Chief, and then they had the Spy Boy, which would run up checking out that there are no other gangs coming down the street, and then they had the Flag Boy. They had a whole posse with them. So anyway, that's the Mardi Gras Indians. And if you hear hip-hop or anything like that, you can hear those rhythms, right? Anyway, there you go. I'm going to leap back in time and then forward in time. I'm going to get again from the Cosimo Matassa's J&M Studio Mark 1, where I'm going to play a really cool civil rights song, long before the civil rights movement, though, because it's from the early 50s. And it's Dave Bartholomew singing a really freaking amazing song. Listen to the words really carefully. He's talking about equality. Then I'm going to play Dr. John talking to me about the first time he went into that studio in his when he was a little boy. It would have been around this time, early 50s. And then I'm going to play Dr. John singing a Mardi Gras Indian chant called Big Chief, about, well, the Big Chief, what I've just been playing. So what did I say? Dave Bartholomew from the early 60s. He produced all of Fats Domino stuff, most of his stuff anyway, and a whole ton of stuff out of J&M Records. So here is an amazing song. Listen carefully to the words. Oh, what's playing in the background? Listen carefully. Listen carefully to the words. It's called The Monkey, and it's chill.
Yeah. The monkey speaks his mind. Now, 3 monkeys sat in a coconut tree, discussing things as they are said to be. Said one to the other, now listen you two, there's a certain rumor that can't be true, that man descended from our noble race. The very idea is a big disgrace. No monkey ever deserted his wife, starved her baby, and ruined her life. Yeah. The monkey speaks his mind. And you never known a mother monk to leave the babies with others to bump, or pass them on from one to another till they scarcely knew who was their mother. Yeah. The monkey speaks his mind. And another thing you will never see, A monkey built a fence around a coconut tree and let other coconuts go to waste, forbidding all other monkeys to come and taste. Why, if I put a fence around this tree, starvation would force you to steal from me. Yeah, the monkey speaks his mind. Here's another thing a monkey won't do: go out at night and get on a stew, or use a gun or club or knife to take another monkey's life. Yes, man descended the weightless bum, but brothers, from us he did not come. Yeah, the monkey speaks his mind.
Daddy brought me by the studio when he wanted to do Maine and Rampart when I was a little kid, you know, and I can tell you every musician was there. I remember Dave Bartholomew was producing a session, but I remember that, man. It was like I was a little kid, never saw a recording studio before, but I remember I was in the control room and Dave Bartholomew, that song that like Red and Herbie played, and right at the end of the song, Dave Bartholomew leaned over and played the last note with the two saxes and made a nice fat ending chord. Not that I knew what that was then, but now I know.
Down.
the great Mac Rebennack singing about the Mardi Gras Indian tradition there in Big Chief. And preceding that was the great Dr. John, a.k.a. Mac Rebennack, telling me, yours truly, all about the very first time as a little kid, because his dad used to sell records and jukeboxes and stuff. So he had a kind of friendly relationship with Johnny Matassa, and he took his little son, Mac, to the recording studio once when he was visiting Cos. So that was Dr. John reminiscing about the first time ever he was in a recording studio, possibly an experience that changed his life and made him want to become a musician to begin with. Another person who went on to change music as well, and in the disco world, R&B world, and many, many other worlds, was a great Alan Toussaint. And Alan Toussaint told me, yours truly, all about coming into Cosimo Matassa's studio as well. And I'm going to play Alan Toussaint telling yours truly, myself, about this. And then I'm going to follow it up with one of Alan Toussaint's biggest hits. I'm not going to tell you what it is, but you'll be surprised, or maybe you won't be surprised, but you'll know it. It also has the Meters, George Porter Jr. on bass, and I think the whole Meters band actually backing Patti LaBelle. Oh, I've just let the cat out the bag, but maybe not. So here's Alan Toussaint telling me about Cosimo Matassa and J&M Records.
And he went to audition.
Oh, hang on. I do this so that you know. It is live radio, because I don't want you to think that this is a pre-record if I do this too smoothly. But let's try this again. Here's Alan Toussaint telling me about going to visit J&M Records.
Snook Sigmund was our guitarist, and he went to audition a song for Dave Bartholomew. And that's when I first saw Cosmo Studio on North Rampart Street, and that's when I met Little Richard for the first time. The first thing I heard on Richard was Slippin' and Slidin'. Little Richard came flying through there, and it was just like Richard was. When the door opened and Richard came in, the place got brighter. Seemed like the lights got brighter. Everything just happened. And he found magic here, and he knew where the magic was, and he'd come here and get it.
See what I mean? I'm just gonna fade it out early because Teens Take the Mic is on in a few minutes, and I want to squeeze in one last song and say a goodbye. You all know this, right? Lady Marmalade's been covered by everybody. Anyway, Alan Toussaint wrote this and produced it with a New Orleans backing band. It happened to be no other than the Meters, or bits of the Meters anyway. Definitely George Porter Jr. on that big funky ass bass. Anyway, that is New Orleans black urban music. If you follow all black urban music to backwards, its roots comes from New Orleans. New Orleans is about the pocket, it's about the groove. That is New Orleans. Pocket and groove city, 100%. It's all about the drum. Anyway, if you have just tuned in, you've just missed Sitting with Gianluca here at Radio Free Brooklyn. I am Gianluca. I've been sitting with you since 6 p.m. very gladly and happily to do so. If you have anything to say, good or bad, please get in touch. I reply all emails and Instagram stuff and everything. The Instagram is Sitting with GT. Email is sittingwith@radiofreebrooklyn.org. Sitting with GT Instagram. T's taking the mic next. Sammy is waiting in the wings. I want to leave you with this from the bottom of my heart. I'm going to get back to Alan Toussaint as well, or Toussaint, I think is the way it's pronounced. I did interview him a few times, and I love this song. This is a song about togetherness. It's off one of his later albums. Came out a few years ago. One of the last ones he did. He died a couple of years ago. And it's about togetherness. It's called Yes We Can. It's about all being together. And in the words of the great New York funk band from the early 90s, Second Step, it goes like this. Hey, motherfucker, we're all one color. And if you're down with that, you can call me brother. See, sounds odd with my accent, I know. But I mean that from the bottom of my heart. I want to thank you for listening. I want to thank you for tuning in. I want to welcome you back next week. If you do, I want to welcome you to my Instagram, emails, whatever. I'm truly grateful and touched that you have taken this last hour to spend with me. All of it or part of it, I'm touched. So I'm going to leave you with a great Alan Toussaint and words to live by and words to aspire to. And this is Yes We Can. Listen and inwardly digest.
Now is the time for all good men to get together with one another, iron out their problems and iron out their quarrels, and try to live as brothers, and try to find peace within without stepping on one another, and do respect of the women of the world. Just remember we all had mothers. Make this land a better land in the world in which we live, and help each man be a better man with the kindness that you give. And I know we can make it. I know that we can. I know done well we can work it out. Oh yes we can. I know we can. Yes we can. Why can't we if we wanna? Yes we can. I know we can make it work. I know that we can. I know we can make it if we try. Oh yes we can. I know we can. Yes we can. Great gosh almighty. Yes we can. I know we can. The future, the little bit of boys and girls, and make this land a better land and the world in which we live, and help each man be a better man with the kindness that you give. And I know we can make it. I know that we can. I know darn well we can work it out.